This is probably one of the most hyped up movies I've ever seen in my life because it's Christopher Nolan and Matthew McConaughey, who's on a big hot streak right now, and the trailers look great, and whew, oh my god. Interstellar is a movie where the Earth is becoming uninhabitable, there's dust storms, and all of our crops and whatnot are dying out, so we don't have a lot of food left. So Michael Caine, along with a few other people from NASA, decide that they're going to try and send people into space to try and find different worlds for us to inhabit. And that involves Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway going up to space to try and find one of these worlds and see which ones we could possibly live in. And I'm not going to say anything else because that's kind of the basic plot of the movie, but there's a lot more intricacies involved in it, but I'm not going to spoil anything until later in the video. I'm going to talk about spoilers later on in the video, but we're not there yet. Going into this movie, I was very excited because I like Christopher Nolan as a director. I think he's made some great movies. The trailers look great as well. I actually avoided the last trailer, which I still haven't actually seen, because I just didn't want to have the movie spoiled for myself. Like I said, this is one of the most hyped up movies I've ever seen, just because of all the things surrounding it. And the reviews for the movie have been pretty good. It has like a 70-something on Rotten Tomatoes, so I expected a good movie, and what I got was a good movie. Matthew McConaughey in this movie is fantastic. He is on a roll, and he does such a great job in this movie at being the anchor for it, because he is the main character, and you really like his character. Like, they take a good amount of time setting up on Earth what's going on and doing character development for him and his family and his daughter specifically. His and her relationship are great, especially the child actress. She was just so good. But they established the relationship and it works really well, and it really keeps you invested in the movie. Anne Hathaway did a good job for what she had, but what she had really wasn't much, because aside from Matthew McConaughey, I felt like all the other crew members were just kind of there to be the scientists and to be the crew. You didn't really get much development for them. Don't get me wrong, they all did a good job. I did not see one bad performance in this movie. It's just, I didn't think everyone got their fair share of, you know, screen time and development. Moving on from that, this movie is visually stunning. It's one of the most visually amazing movies I've ever seen in my life. There's so many great shots in space. I saw this movie in like 70mm IMAX, so that was like the best way to see it. If you can see it that way, I highly suggest you go see it like that, because it's just amazing and the sound quality is fantastic in those theaters. So many times in this movie it looked so realistic, and I know Christopher Nolan didn't use any green screen for this movie, and he shot a lot of it on location, which is fantastic. It all looks great. It's just such a visually stunning movie, and it just really brings you into the world and makes you feel it. And one of my worries going into this movie was it was 2 hours and like 50 minutes, so long movies can sometimes feel really long, and thankfully this movie doesn't feel very long. It like, you could tell it's long, but it doesn't feel like it drags on too much. There were only a few parts where I felt like it was dragging on, and that was just a little bit. Now I'm gonna go into spoilers here, and I don't even know what I'm actually gonna talk about yet. Like, I have one thing I really want to talk about, but I'm going to go into spoilers now, so if you don't want to know spoilers for this movie, and I assume you don't if you haven't seen it, you should stop watching the video now. I'll just give my rating for this movie. I would give it a B as it stands right now. That could change upon repeat viewings, but as it stands right now, I'd give the movie a B. And I'm going to go into why now, because I kind of have to spoil it to really go into it. Okay, so the main structure of this movie is you start out on Earth, you get a good section of the movie there, I would say about a half hour spent on Earth, and then Matthew McConaughey has to go up to space and everything, so he goes up there, and they have a few worlds they can possibly visit to, you know, get people to live there. But they go to the first one. That was a really cool scene, like having the water and those giant waves. That was such a fantastic, like, visual feast in IMAX. But moving on from that, the world they go to, where, yeah, Matt Damon's there. I knew Matt Damon was going to be in this movie. I thought it was just going to be like a small cameo, but he actually has a supporting role in this movie, and he has a good portion of the movie dedicated to his character. First of all, like, you could tell immediately where they were going to go with that character, and it just kind of bugged me. I felt like Matt Damon's entire sequence of this movie was shoehorned into it for no reason. Not for no reason, but they wanted to add more drama to the movie, but it just felt so forced. And especially when he and Matthew McConaughey are walking away together, the music was just so incredibly obvious as to what was about to happen. it just took me out of the movie, and it took up a good portion of time, so it really bugged me after a while. And I love Matt Damon. I thought he did a good job in the movie. He's one of my favorite actors, and he gave a really good performance, but I didn't feel like his character was necessary in this movie. They could have just had more space exploration in there. Honestly, besides that, I really enjoyed the movie. The acting is great, even though I feel like some of the characters are underwritten. It was a visually stunning experience. It was just so intense at times too. And the emotional bond in this movie, I went over that a little bit before with Matthew McConaughey and his daughter, but that really carries this movie. Like, there's certain times when they're on the spaceship and they get videos from home, and Matthew McConaughey just does such a great job, and he really makes you feel for the character. It's just so good. As it stands right now, I'm going to give the movie a B. You should definitely go see it this weekend. This movie deserves to be seen on a big screen. But as it stands right now, I just had that one glaring problem that I really thought took away from the movie. And yeah, I'm gonna definitely see it again, so maybe my thoughts will change after I see it a second time or a third time. So, I don't know, maybe if it changes drastically, I will make another video, but I don't see that happening. So what do you guys think of Interstellar? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? How do you think it stacks up to other Christopher Nolan movies? Write your beautiful comments down there and tell me what you think, and if you like this video, hit that subscribe button down there, because if you don't, I don't know, my brain is just fried right now. Just,